He's not a xenophobe. He knows that the best way to help other nations is to get our own act together, okay, and to prove it and to set an example. Isn't that the best way to teach others? And all these people that say, oh, well, you're intolerant. Well, show me what tolerance is. But they're doing the opposite. This is all they've got left, is to try to besmirch the character of just regular, everyday American people on the left and the right. Like I said, I think I'm a leftist. Really, I do. In the truest sense of the word, I am definitely a professed liberal. I'm very generous. I believe in generosity. I believe that God is generous. And what Victor Hugo had to say was valid too. And it's not inconsistent, but it's a dichotomy. It's a bit of a paradox. Look at this punk kid. That's where Victor Hugo comes in. This punk kid was born with a silver spoon in his mouth that ran that woman over, that white supremacist, that racist, that nutcase. And who God knows who he was working for. You don't know, unless he admits it. But he didn't need to work for anybody. So, no, he was just there because he was self-righteous, thought he was better just because he was born white. What kind of Fruit Loop is that? Okay? That's insanity. That's madness. That does not show a person in the right mind. Maybe the guy was on SSRIs. Who knows? He didn't look right. People said he wasn't right. He was getting in all kinds of trouble. But there's an example. Okay, prosperity makes monsters. That guy is a monster. Okay? So what Victor Hugo said was very real, very valid in that case. That maybe if that guy really knew what it was like to pay his bills, okay, just like everybody else out there, maybe he wouldn't be behaved like that, right? Do you understand what I'm saying? So you've got to be smart in the sense of just being honest. It's, go to God, and God will give you all the intellect you need, because it's not hard. It's not hard. Simple math is not hard to figure out. To understand that there is these people that are motivated by the problems continuing. And if the problems go away, their livelihood go away. So they're induced very powerfully by fear. This is what I call the pseudo-reverence that the establishment extracts, that Satan is extracting from the public at large. We're all living in financial fear. That's it. That's reverence. It's a perverted form of reverence. Nevertheless, Satan will take what he can as he can. That spirit. Remember, this devil idea. Look, it's just a bad actor, okay, that infects a lot of people. And it's not hard to understand. God understands. That's why he's so quick to forgive and slow to anger when we're money lovers. But you've got to draw a line in the sand in your own soul. This, at the end of the day, it is every man for himself. We're going to stand one-on-one before our maker, our owner, our creator, and answer for our beliefs. So we've got to justify our thinking before God, our insecurities, our fear, and say, really, you feared the God of this world, the money masters of misery, more than you feared your owner? I mean, that's not going to fly, and he's not going to buy a lot of psychobabble in your head, so you've got to go to a more painful place. Okay, don't believe what the Rosicrucians believe. They're very elitist in their belief that, you get to choose. If you were born an elitist, it's because you worked it out with God, and God put you back with another elite family. That's perversion of reincarnation. Okay, I have a daughter that was born 5 years to the day my mother died, and there's not another man on earth my mother would rather have as her dad. If she had to come back, she had unresolved issues she had to work out, and God might say, okay, I'm going to let you do it. Chris's mom, Mary, and this is how we're going to do it. Okay, I'm not saying in every case that's the way it is. I'm saying maybe, but the Rosicrucian belief is evil. That's from the pit of hell. That's believing that, like I just explained, that I was born an elitist, and so I'm an occultist, and I'm a part of this secret society, and I'm, I have special knowledge that I can't share with people because it's so deep, nobody can understand it. So I'm terminally unique. This is something you're bandied about in these 12-step programs all the time. These people are off their nut. And this Hindu belief in reincarnation that, you're going to come back as a bug or something, to me, that's a lot of psychobabble too. Okay, but if it's reasonable, if say, well, this guy didn't learn his lesson, being born rich and everything, so he's got to be born as a third world child now so that he learns what he needs to learn, so that his soul can be saved. Because at the end of the day, that's what it comes down to, is saving souls. So we've all got to just have the fear of God in our soul, and that's the good kind of fear. Not I'm afraid. I'm going to do this because I'm afraid of you, God. No, He doesn't want us. He wants us to love Him because we want to, and because He wants us to follow His commandments because we love Him, because we want to please Him above all else. And He knows when we are and when we aren't. Okay, so it's reverence. That's respect, a profound, deep respect for your owner, your maker, your creator, that we should all have. And chuck the money master of this world away and understand that we can move toward this stage of an ideal social, economic, political society gradually. Okay? Through sound economic policies it can be done. But you've got to be able to identify progress from anti-progress. True economic progress from what is pseudo-economic progress, which is actually regression. When your burden goes up, the system's not working. Okay, when your taxes go up, it's not working. And that's all that the cost of living does. It increases your burden. Your tax, please understand this fundamentally. You might be hearing it in words and terms that you have never heard anybody explain before, but that's what God put on my heart. And that's all the best I can offer humanity is what God puts on my heart to say and to explain to people. And then you explain it to somebody else, and we all start getting it. We get how subtle and how devious and diabolistic the enemy works on us all, and how easy it is to be deceived, that we're born masters of self-deceit because we got this sinful nature from birth. It's as if it's in our DNA, and our parents, they're screwed up, and our teachers are screwed up. Everybody's screwed up. We're all screwed up together, and God knows it. We're weeds and grain growing together, and we haven't decided. Maybe I want to be the grain, and you get to be that grain. If you turn to God in repentance, say, God, please, I want to save my soul. Then ask Him what you need to do it, and He'll do it. Just be honest. Be real. Be a good American. Believe in equality. Believe in egalitarianism. Believe that if God had His will, that's the state of affairs, folks. Believe that we will serve one another, that the system cannot break down as long as you have a willing workforce. It can't. Prove me wrong. There's never been a period in history when it's allowed to be tried. Satan and his moneyed masters of misery have understood that this power is far too enticing, is far too great to just piss away. And to this day, they haven't. They own the copyright to the money, folks. They're the infinite heirs. They know who they're sucking up to. They know who they're brown-nosing. They know who they're bootlicking. They know who they're sycophants for. Okay? It's those that own the copyright to the money. That's the God of this world today. So all this talk about Satan and his pitchfork, that's where it's all emanating from. Right there. So, once you get it, you got to share it. It's just like love, It's really not love until you give it away. And it's really not caring. And it's not respect. And these are things we all want. And we've got to just say, look, this person believes what they believe. And if I can't correct them in a tactful manner where they don't even know they're being corrected and explain to them, then I have failed. And I've got to leave that task to somebody else. My daughters have to meet a Trump supporter that they genuinely like, that they say, I can't resist this. You know what? This is somebody that's made it palatable for me to accept a certain truth that I was overlooking before because I had put blinders on. False pride. Because I believed, like the rest of my peers, that were condemning. Or they believed it was the rest of their peers, but it's not everybody. But people are afraid. They're sheepish to admit what they believe so often. Because I know my daughters have friends that support Trump, that believe he's the next JFK, believe he's a good American, he's a blue-collar president. He wants the best for everybody. He's trying to lift us all out of poverty. That he gets it, man. Okay? Give him a break. Let the man have a chance. Please, let him take a breath. Stop attacking him like a pack of hyena, all you mainstream media freaks, man. If I had a big vat of vomit, I'd hang it up, suspend it, and have a big string. And you know what I'd do? I'd pass each and every one of you people under it. Your Tom Brokaws out there, all you people that make me want to vomit, you liars. I think you're lying. You got to go on a polygraph to prove me wrong, because I think you're a lot of liars. Or you're just saying what you say because you're told to say it. That's the spin you're told to put on it, the slant you're told to put on it. You're told not to cover this. Don't talk about this. But let's focus on this. It's just like Jesus said. He said, you people strain out a gnat, yet swallow a camel. Okay, you hypocrites. Okay, you're like whitewashed tombs that men walk over and offend you and they don't even know it. That's how you are. You're sick and twisted deviants. You're evil, and you're on the highway to hell if you persist in your endeavor to destroy America, to induce a new civil war in America. And you, George Soros, all you people, you're liars, okay? Prove me wrong. Go on a polygraph. Prove me wrong. I think that you're evil, okay? Convince me that you're not evil. That's the one question I ask you. Let's put them on a polygraph. See if they don't believe that they're evil. Are you deceptive? I would ask these mainstream media people I'm talking about. Cover them. Just make sure that they're covered in vomit as they pass through this line. That's what I'd like to do with these people. They sicken me up to here, okay, and beyond. Okay, I put you all on polygraphs. I want to know if you're saying what you have to say because your boss told you to, or if you really believe it. That's my question. Okay? Because I think you're a pack of liars. So it is fake news in that sense. Okay? So I think I'm going to end it right there. I could talk all day. Anybody that's ever listened to me know I could talk all day about any given subject. But I think I'm going to, at this point, move quickly on to current events, and that's that. So, a final note about these mainstream media characters. It's like they keep drawing back into the conversation, back into this small-minded fiction. They've fabricated the nonsense, but this is their talking point. And people are trying to move on. Like my mind, I'll say something, and I'm moving on, man. It's written down somewhere, but, to go back through those notes or dig through the files in my brain, it's not always functioning like that. So, if I had to face the media every day like Trump, I'd have to have notes, and I just go over, this is what I told you last week, this is what I told you yesterday, and here, you're going to hear it again. But, if I have to keep on defending myself, and there's so many ways that these people thinking is screwed up, this mainstream media, and it's so obvious that they're just tainting reality is what they're doing. They're trying to manipulate us and steer us in the direction they want us to go. And it's unnerving. It's insufferable. I cannot stand this BS, man. I just want to scream. I want to pull my hair out. You reach your wit's end with these people. And it's like, I know what you're trying to do here. Do you know the implications? If civil war breaks out in America, do you know what's going to happen? Do you understand? Do you understand that you're talking to a guy here that didn't care if JFK was a Democrat or Republican? I don't care if Trump was a Democrat or Republican. I would have voted for him in a minute if he was a Democrat. I just ended up trusting the man. And I had just all the same reservations as anybody else, that when they heard Trump was running for president, they just gasped and said, oh my God, no, that's who I was. I was that person. And still I started listening to what he had to say. And I saw how the establishmentarians, whom I think are putrid, pustules, useless, what they had to say about him. Then they exposed themselves. Trump's for real. He really is the blue-collar president. And that's what I am. I'm a blue-collar guy. I'm after the minimum wage worker. Okay? I care about them, not by increasing their pay. That's never going to work. That ship sailed a long time ago. If we were going to tie wages in to the cost of living, okay, which should have been done a long time ago, then you wouldn't have had this dramatic cost of living increase through market manipulation and collusion of special interest groups fixing prices. That's what's caused these problems of cost of living inflation / currency debasement. Okay, duh. Figure it out, folks. Remember, it's honesty, not intellect. Okay, you want the opposite of that. You want cost of living deflation, currency inflation. You want it to go up in worth. Okay, which is the opposite of the direction we've been going for decades, at least 5 decades since the assassination of JFK. We've been going that direction. So that's regression, folks. We've been regressing a long time. We haven't been standing still in terms of the standard of living. It's been going down, 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 down. And the people in the establishment want to keep it going down. And Trump's trying to say, no, turn it around. Turn it around, Trump, through sound economic policies, through being honest with people and saying, look, pointing out that it'd be cheaper to buy people in Section 8 houses than to keep going down this path, down this track, on this trajectory. Explain that to people.